Smut, smut, 1, 2.
Smut,
Smut, smut, 1, 2.
Smut, smut, 1, 2. Let's go over spice scale today. Hey guys, welcome back to Blush and Burn Podcast. I'm Laura Eakin.
And I'm Annie Baxter.
And today we're going over our spice scale.
Spicy. We like the spice.
We like the spice. So if you watched our last video, we decided to break this up into two parts. So we did our book ratings, and now we're going to go over our actual spice scale, i.e. my cute little
She drew these peppers because they're adorable, and we love them. And we were going to do a whiteboard, weren't we?
Yeah, but we couldn't find one that we liked. Hobby Lobby.
Whatever.
You disappoint us.
Well,
again.
in that area.
Yeah.
Because I walked out.
There was a whole lot of
I
other
walked
stuff.
out with a couple bags.
Things.
I walked out with a couple bags from the
Me
Hobby
too.
Lobby.
Me too.
Dang it.
It's fine.
Nope.
So we can always do more whiteboard stuff later. But for now, this is what we're dealing with. My lovely art. So in our last one, we talked about how there are books rated E, BK13, BK17, BKR, and BKX. These books are books that we love and that are popular right now in the social media realm. Now we're going to talk about our pepper scales because
Which
this is
affects
important.
how things are rated.
Yes, this does affect ratings. Now, this scale does not, I repeat, does not include a heat scale. This scale, for us, is not subjective.
It's pretty clean cut.
It's very
we had
clean
to
cut.
come up with a system that was clean cut enough that we could both agree. We both agreed on
Yes.
it. I will give you all the credit for coming up with it because you are a fucking genius. But
thanks.
I think that it works perfect for the type of books that we read.
Yeah.
We really had to come up with something that was
It was concise.
It wasn't exactly, it's not exactly foolproof, but it's like when you tell me, hey, what you just finished that book, what did you rate it? And I'm like, oh, I gave it 4 stars and 3 chili peppers.
I
You
know exactly what's happening.
You
Or
know
I have
exactly
a clue.
what I'm like, 4 stars. Oh, she's going to be telling people about this.
Yep.
If she knows people like dark romance, she's going to be telling people about this book.
Yes.
And then you're going to be going, and then 3 chili peppers. That also means that, that
we're getting
her
full
spice-
detail.
her
We're
spice is
getting
probably
all these
on
things.
point,
Yes.
but not even just on point. We'll talk about, I don't want to give it away. We won't even talk about it yet.
We'll get into it.
The point is that you know what I mean.
Yes. So when we go through our book reviews, because we do have some coming up here in the next little bit, this is the scale that we will be using. So let's talk a little bit about this and what they all mean. We're going to start with our green bell pepper. Clean, sweet, Hallmark, Christian romance was
Good
something that was brought up
old
to us. Closed
Small
door.
town romance.
Yes.
Yeah, these are ones that
Would work for the
I-
E category. Everyone.
jokingly, I was like, these are ones your mom's going to want to read. But I don't know about your mom, but I mean,
Our mom sometimes goes up in chili
she
peppers.
probably goes up in
but,
chili peppers. But
But that's really what this is. It is closed door
Yeah.
or fade to black or none at all. Brandon Sanderson is the perfect example of a green bell pepper. He has romance in his stories. If there
Right.
is anything, it is closed door.
Closed door.
You don't do anything with it. There's kissing. There might be holding hands. This is where you're going to find most of your stories for teenage girls, like your beginners into romance.
or the point is the plot. And
Yes, this
it's
is all
just
plot.
to have a good time. It's there may be an underlining romance that's going through it that helps carry through some of the book, but it's not the whole plot. It's
Yes.
not the whole story. It's just an added bonus, right?
Yes.
So, I say that, but then I look at our list and I'm like, okay, assistant to the villain, we consider that a green bell pepper.
It is a green bell pepper, but it is a BK17 because
There is a little romance in it, though.
there is romance in it.
Underlining.
And they talk about, we're just going to use blatant terms. They talk about sex.
Yeah, they do.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, they do.
And they allude to it quite a bit. So while there is alluding to, there is no actual on page.
Correct.
So we may even consider that half a chili pepper.
Right.
But there is nothing on page. There is nothing that happens. So I have dubbed this one a green bell pepper.
Right.
Another one that falls under this is powerless. There is tension.
It
There is
actually
discussion.
falls under this.
But it also does fall under green bell pepper. There is kissing. There is touching of like the arm. But that's it. There's nothing else. Now, if a book.
There is sleeping together, but they are not doing anything.
No, they're sharing a bed space. That is it.
Good old one bed trope.
One bed. But if a book does not have romance in it, I will not be putting any type of pepper scale.
No,
So this is specifically
it's
romance books.
It's the bell pepper is very easy to do.
Yes.
Was it on page?
No. Green bell pepper.
No. Was it behind a closed door? Yes. We just read a book, House on Watch Hill.
Yes.
Did they talk about it a lot? Yeah,
Absolutely,
they did.
they did.
They talked about sex all the time.
It actually was graphic enough that I gave it 1 chili pepper.
But there was actually no open door scenes.
No open door scenes.
None. Which, for how much was talked about, is a little bit unusual, but at the same time, it doesn't change the fact. So you actually did rate it 1 bell pepper.
Not
you know
one
what?
bell pepper,
I
one
meant
chili.
I did. I keep
saying
doing
bell
that.
pepper, chili pepper.
I keep doing that. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I actually gave it 1 pepper too, only because how much
she talks about sex and about like the actual act of doing it with this person.
So that might be the only thing
that's the caveat.
Get you, yeah.
There will be a couple like little caveats here and there,
I think
but
you can't get away from them.
We're pretty firm on some of these. So another one that would classify as a green bell pepper is like Air Awakens, right? There is the beginning of a romance plot here. There's the beginning of that,
right?
But that's it. It's just the beginning of it.
Right.
So because of that, it gets a green bell pepper. There's not much that goes beyond that other than, well, he's really cute.
I know. It was so innocent, but
innocent.
But it was still a great story.
Yes, it was. Which leads us to 1 chili pepper or 1 pepper. So for 1 chili pepper, we're getting explicit information here. This is when you're getting like a bunch of detail if the act is not on page. Then we have fondling, 1 to 3 on page actual scenes. And these will be like minimal to full detail. Now, Annie just mentioned House at Watch Hill. This is a 1 chili pepper for me for the amount of explicit content that is spoken about without it actually being an on-page scene.
It really was explicit.
It was explicit.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. Because trust me, we've read some 5 chili peppers.
Yeah, no, it's just to give some context behind the fact that like, because it was explicit with as much detail as it was, it does amp it up a little bit.
Yes. So for 1 chili pepper, Annie and I just interviewed Paula Lafferty, who wrote La Vida Guinevere.
We gave it 1 chili pepper.
That's 1 chili pepper. It was easy. We present it as a blush option. It's a 1 chili pepper.
Right.
Now, we did read our book club book.
Which one?
The Road of Bones.
Oh, The Road of Bones.
This is by Demi Winters.
I loved this book.
It took me until 50% to love this book. However,
I actually liked it from like the beginning, but
you loved it.
I did like it. Because I thought it was a good story and it actually hooked me. And I'm a big believer that if you cannot hook me within like the first like few chapters, like what am I reading this book for? Like just to go along with this story? Like I need something to hook me and to keep me going, and I felt like Road of Bones did that.
Yes.
But we also thought it was 1 chili pepper.
Yes.
It was yummy. spice that was in it was done really well. I would almost classify Rotobones as almost a 1.5. It's not quite. It has the 1 to 5 scenes.
1 to 3.
1 to 3. Sorry, that's what I meant. 1 to 3. Um, it was.
There are a couple moments that go fade to black,
It did,
but there's
but
only 2 on page.
I think it was just done really well.
I would agree with that.
And so it definitely is one full chili pepper.
Yep. 2 chili peppers.
2 chili peppers.
Okay, this is where you're going to start getting more detail, and you have 3 to 5 scenes. So here is where you're going to find the majority of romance books right now.
Right. I actually think that there's probably a good handful of Tessa Bailey's books.
I would classify most
I think
Tessa
you
Bailey
can
books.
handle. I think you're gonna have almost most of Tessa Bailey's books as a of a two pepper. I think you may actually get into 3, and a couple of them they almost might borderline a 3 because she does bring in kinks every once in a while in her books. But that's the only way it's gonna get up to a 3. I mean, she's pretty solid 2 pepper for us.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Another one for a 2 chili pepper for me would be Amy Dawes. She wrote Wait With Me. That one definitely is a 2 chili pepper.
This one. Is that the one? That's
the mechanic one.
We each read different ones. I read a different one by Amy Dawes.
One Moment, Please.
1 Moment, Please. Pregnancy trope. Freaking loved it. I hope they make this into a movie. Like, I just think this would be a perfect rom-com.
That would be a good one.
Oh, it's a great rom-com. Come on.
I know. We're also chomping at the bit to get more rom-com movies.
Yeah, no, I think it would be perfect.
I agree.
What else?
The Last Leviathan. I also gave that 2 chili peppers. There's enough on-scene content here. There is enough tension and detail in this that it pushes it up to a 2 chili pepper. Then there were 3. Oh, number 3 is like my sweet spot.
Sweet spot, man. Take me to my sweet spot. 3.
Yep.
We got equal plot with equal spice.
Yes.
Like perfect balance.
This is
perfection.
Yes. This is 5 scenes and up. Full detail.
Full
detail. This is where we also will put threesomes.
Yep.
And this is also where we will put what we classify as borderline kink. Right. So,
which would be?
This would be good girl.
Edging.
What
else would be borderline
I'm trying
kink?
to think. Hand necklaces.
Yeah. Maybe a little choking.
That's a hand necklace.
I was thinking of a pearl necklace. Okay. That's fine.
I can't get past that now. That's just sitting with me now. Real good.
It's fine.
Oh my gosh. So
look, that's an easy thing. That's an easy thing to confuse, Laura.
I don't know.
How
many 5 chili pepper books have you been reading? Because I think that we might need to classify a couple things for you.
Let's go back.
Okay.
Let's go back to the
3. We'll just go back to the beginning of 3.
No, fuck no. You're keeping this in. Don't you dare fucking take it out.
Okay, it's here.
It's not a pearl necklace.
It's a hand
necklace.
I was just trying to be.
I know it. We'll keep going.
But that's the thing is like on other platforms, you can say choking.
I know. That's why I like
that's
YouTube.
I know. This is why we're loving
that's why
YouTube
me and YouTube are friends.
Because I don't have to block Annie out and all of the stuff she says. It works out fantastic. Anyway, this is where you're getting that, like Annie said, that equal plot to smut. Now my brain's all over the place. Equal plot to smut. Something that I find that fit really good with this. I love the sexual tension in a 3 chili pepper. Like, I cannot tell you. There's just something about it. Because you're getting there, and then they come together, and Then there's like this banter back and forth. Like I just feel there's just something there about a 3 chili pepper. That
Well,
just,
if
sits
you
so
have
good
a
with
3
me.
chili pepper and you have banter and you have detail, I don't know if you can go wrong. But I mean like real good detail. Like I
Yes.
don't need uh it is an art to be able to create good banter and detail that is enough to help create the visual, like help create that um what am I thinking? Just to help really create the picture of like the feeling.
Yes.
That's something. It's like more about like the feeling, right? It's like,
Yes.
can you write detail to make me feel and pull me into the scene?
Yes.
And if you can, in a 3 chili pepper, I mean, that's like perfection.
This was one of our last 5 stars, was a 3 chili pepper.
Yeah.
And that would be Twisted Truth by A.V. Archer.
Twisted Truth.
So good.
It was so yummy.
And so well done.
And I mean, I think we have to note, like, this is a first time author.
Yeah, she's a debut author.
She's a debut. And it
So good.
It was done so incredibly well.
I'm having flashbacks.
And I know, and I will reread this.
I will
This will be a
definitely reread
reread
this
for
one.
me. And I'm more excited because I know that there's more coming.
Yes.
Like
We actually are very fortunate to be friends with this author, and we were friends with
We
her
are.
before the book came out. So it's one of those things that we just love her. But
I'm looking forward to the day that she lets us do a quick little like
interview.
one-on-one. I'm kind of hoping we can like corner her here in a couple of weeks when we
Me
go
too.
out of town with her. I'm kind of
can't
hoping we
wait.
can corner her a little bit.
I think we should do it live with her.
I think we
think
should
that'd be
too.
really
I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Anyway, squirrel moment. Another one that's a 3 chili pepper. We talked in our last podcast about How My Neighbor Stole Christmas and how that's an R. We gave that book a 3 chili
It's
pepper.
an R. Bless you. That was a pre-bless
crazy.
you. I
It
liked
took
it.
forever.
Pre-bless you.
Woo. So yeah, How My Neighbor Stole Christmas, 3 chili peppers.
Yep. It
I think has a
had-
borderline kink with a
I
candy
agree.
cane.
No, there's borderline kink in this.
And a little bit of tying up.
And it worked.
It did. It was fantastic.
It worked.
The last one I have on this list is Phantasma. We did not love this book, plot-wise. Smut-wise, it was on point.
But I think that this is a good book to bring up only because it is so popular, and I think people, a lot of people have read it, and so I do think it helps give reference to what a 3 chili pepper looks like for us.
Yes, I would agree with that. I
Right.
would agree.
I want you to know that I'm stingy with 4 chili peppers.
I have found that I am also stingy.
I am stingy with a 4 chili pepper. You gotta bring it.
You do. So, what is in a 4 chili pepper read? Well, let us tell you.
Let us tell you.
This is where you're going to get your kinks. All the kinks.
Yeah.
This is where you're getting them.
Yeah.
Okay? This is where you're going to get your taboo. This is where you're going to get your age gap. This is where you're getting your stepbrother. This is where you're getting...
Yeah, you're adding taboo in with the kink.
Yes.
Right.
Now, this is where, yes, we have a lot of spice. I honestly would say that a lot of the time, if it's a 4 chili pepper, it still has about the same amount of spice happening as a 3 chili pepper, but they upped the ante by bringing in a kink.
Correct.
So this is more than 3 partners. So if you have a reverse harem, why choose? This is going to hit a 4 chili pepper. Now,
If
there
we're adding
is
lots of kinks into it, because
Yes.
I have read multiple partner or reverse harems, or even we can call them why chooses. I don't care, but I've only given them 3 peppers because they didn't actually add a lot of kink into it. And I'm gonna give an example of you want to know what the example that I was literally just thinking of. I just realized it's multiple partners, but none of them are like together.
let's do
But
an example of
I'll still give you one really
Into
quick.
Their Woods.
Yeah,
This is a great
good
one.
Yeah, that's
so
a good
this
one.
is a reverse harem why choose. Now, there are 4 men and 1 girl, right?
Right.
Yes. 4 men, 1 girl.
Right.
Now, they do one threesome and
Right.
then another threesome.
Correct.
So this falls under a 3 chili
We
pepper.
count that as a 3 chili pepper.
That doesn't go into 4. Now, if all 5 of them are participating together,
We'll bump it up to a
that
4.
goes into a 4.
And I expect that to happen
yes.
into
Nope.
their woods.
That is this
Book
one.
number
Into
2.
their den.
Oh, into their den.
Yeah.
Correct.
I
That's
think
book
it's
2.
into their den.
Yeah, it's into their
I
den.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
That comes out late February.
Right.
But when they all start participating, so another one Ivy Asher wrote, because this is the only one I can think of, is the Hellgate Guardian series. There are, is it 5 guys or is it 4 guys? I can't remember now. I think there's 5 of them total. They all participate
Yeah, they do.
with and on her.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, that bumps it immediately to a 4. So if you have another book like Annie read Pucking Around. Pucking Around
It's a 4 chili pepper.
is a 4 chili pepper because it is polyamorous in a sense of there are 3 men and 1 woman.
I gave Pucking Sweet a 3.5 because it didn't quite hit a 4 because of the kink level. It was a fantastic polyamory story, and the spice was on point, and it was amazing, and it was very like heartfelt, like you could feel the whole thing, and it was just yummy, but it didn't quite hit the we weren't
Didn't quite hit that level.
No, we weren't fully kinks. It wasn't a full Pucking Sweet did not it wasn't a full kink. It was just an MMF. It was on point, but we didn't quite hit that 4. We didn't quite hit that 4.
Right.
And it also just wasn't that intense. Like
Right.
the 4 chili pepper also has like an intensity level that comes with it.
I would agree. The Lord series. Many people love this series.
It's a 4 pepper
That's
all
a
day
4
long.
pepper all
I
day.
think I
Borderline
don't know if
5.
you could have a Lord series book that wasn't a 4 to 5 peppers.
Yes. The only reason why I would say, and I have not read these, so if anybody does not agree with this statement, put it down in the comment section.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Because I would be interested to see if someone thinks
rates it differently.
Yeah,
if any of these books you rate differently, we would love to know.
Well, because I love being able to rethink it. Like,
yes,
I love like really having to like rethink. Yeah, rethink it.
Yeah, I think that the Lord series would not be a 5 chili pepper only because there is more storyline happening in this type of way. It's the same way that like Devil's Night. You know what I mean? It's the 2 people, and yeah, there's going to be like degradation and that kind of thing, but it's not. And just because it's dark does not mean that it immediately goes to a 5 chili pepper.
Yeah, I think that I think the Lord series is a 4 chili pepper all day. I think that there is a level of intensity that there's a possibility it could be like a 4.5.
Yeah. Flames of Chaos. This is a 4 chili pepper. The plot be plotting and the smut be smutting. It is so good. It is equal parts plot to smut, and the smut that's there is beautissimus. It is so good. It is so good. And there's so much of it.
And it's edgy. It's
edgy.
intense. And
So yummy.
it's got that bully factor to it.
Yep.
And which helps up the intensity level. And it was fantastic.
Yep. And then we go into a 5 chili pepper.
Mm-hmm.
This is no plot. This is allspice.
Yeah.
This is like smuttiest of smut. This is there is nothing but this on page.
Agreed. I think that I think you can find a couple that are really close to having enough plot that you're actually like, oh, that was actually a really great. So,
That's because you just finished one.
I know, I just finished one. That's why I'm saying it. Well, I'm fighting it. I am fighting it a little bit because I do think it was a 5 chili pepper because we had 3 partners with a possible 4th coming in,
Okay.
and they were all together, and at 50% of the book, the other 50, like we had world building, we had it happening in the beginning, and then the last half was mostly
On page.
on page, and which makes me curious to see what the next one is. And I will tell you what this book is. I just really didn't even say it. This was Forged in Blood, by Sadie Kincaid. I enjoyed the story and I enjoyed the plot line of it. So I'm curious to see what, I believe it's called Promised in Blood, I think is the next book. I'm curious to see what happens with it. And I wouldn't be surprised if the first half of it is all spice, and then you have like the last half of it be plot. Because I almost, if unless there's more in the series, but I almost can kind of see this like pattern in her, in what she's doing. So
I like that.
I'm very curious to keep reading on.
Yeah. So another example here would be His to Ruin and Theirs to Destroy. This is a MMFM, well, more like MFMM, that then turns into MMMF. If you need help with these acronyms, please put that down in the comment section. We don't know all of it, but we can help with what we do know.
Sure.
And it is minimal plot, all bully and smut.
Yep.
It was so good and so well done.
Right.
I think I also classified Bad Teacher by Clarissa Wilde to be a 5 Chili Pepper book because there was more spice than plot in this book. I'm sorry. It's a teacher-student relationship.
Like, there was. And there
wasn't
was
a whole lot
taboo
there.
involved into it. I don't.
And kink.
There was kink.
There was a lot of kink.
I don't know if the intensity was there, but it definitely, it could have been 5. It was, I mean, it could have been 5 for sure.
My shoe was untied.
I see that.
It was bugging me.
I see that. That show.
So this is our spice scale. Obviously, it's not going to be the same for everyone, but we feel that having a really cut and dry spice situation helps everybody know like what they're getting into. Now, there is a heat scale, which I believe is subjective upon every person. But when it comes to the actual spice scale and like how many scenes are on page and how detailed they are, I think that this is a good place to start.
I think it's a great place to start. I mean, there's nothing better than reading a review and you knew exactly what they were talking about. And half the time I don't. Unless they're very descriptive on why they gave it the spice rating that they gave it, or why they gave it the chili pepper that they gave it.
Yes.
And if they explain it afterwards, then I'm very grateful for that because it helps me gauge where I'm at. So if you don't have a scale or you don't have something that you go by and you do reviews, I think it's really helpful to, if you're saying this was a 3 chili pepper because, and then maybe put it afterwards, because I actually think that's extremely helpful for someone like me who does actually read reviews.
I would like to know if people would classify that as a spoiler. Put it in the comment section. Let us know if that's something you would classify as a spoiler. If somebody goes on and is like, this was a 1 chili pepper because there's 2 on-page scenes without a lot of detail, I think that would be fine. But if you're going to go on and be like, this is a 4 chili pepper because of ABD, I feel like that's more of a spoiler.
Interesting. I think it could be a little bit of a spoiler. I think you could probably say something like, I'm giving this a 4 chili pepper because it is a MMM.
Well, yeah, I would put that in.
You know, and actually like maybe add a couple of like tropes into it and kind of give me like a little bit of like reasons why. I think that's helpful. Because I'm not going to be surprised. I mean, more than
my drink was behind me.
Oh, she's spilling drinks over here.
My energy drink
Oh,
all over my butt.
Sad. That's sad. We're going to wrap it up now because Laura's butt is
Is
wet. That's fine.
What chili pepper would you put that in?
Exactly. Is that a kink? Are we calling that a kink?
Nah, I don't
No, it's
classify
not a
that
kink.
as a kink.
Not a kink.
I don't at all. Anyway,
Unless it's being licked off, and then maybe we'll call it a kink.
maybe if there's 3 men back there. Who knows? Who knows?
That's fine.
Anyway, I gotta clean this mess up now. So
Okay.
that's our spice scale. The way that we normally will write our ratings out is BK rating and then the spice level, and that should be able to specify things for everybody
And our
make
stars.
it quick and easy.
And how many
And
stars
we have
we're
our
giving it.
stars. And if you guys want to see a full layout, let us know. We can show you that. But for now,
You know, I think we should do a part 3. I think we should probably do our stars. Because we do have a way we do our stars.
I do. I know. Okay, fine.
Dang it.
Part 3.
Part 3 will come.
Of how we rate based
Yep.
off of stars.
Based on stars.
Yep. Have a good night, guys.